Good morning, students. So today I have a really important announcement. This Friday, we will be taking our final Unit 6 test on everything we've been learning for the past 7 weeks. So this week, again, we will be taking our final Unit 6 test on Friday. So to help you prepare for the test, we're going to be doing a review video today and tomorrow, and you'll also have 2 practice homework assignments today and tomorrow to help you prepare for your final test on Friday. And then after Friday, we'll be moving on to a new unit on the water cycle next week. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be reviewing the material that you need to know for Friday's test. So listen carefully and watch the entire video. I will also be giving you the password for today's homework assignment. So we are on the materials page. Remember, everything for this week will be in the black folder. You open up the week 8 slides. On Monday, yesterday, you watched this video. And those of you who needed to, you retook the test, the quiz, the final house design quiz if you needed. And then the optional extra credit is still here. It's not due until Sunday, but those of you who are interested in doing this extra credit, the directions are right over here. And then now we're going to go ahead and move on to today's lesson. So today you're going to be opening up the study guide and doing this practice homework number 1. So first I'll open up the week 8 slides right over here. Press present. So it says watch the entire video today in order to hear the password for today's homework. So make sure you watch until the end of the video. And then today all you're going to do is turn in 1 homework assignment. It's to help you practice for the test. The final test is on Friday. So if you're ready for today's lesson, click here. Again, watch the entire video and read through every slide until you reach the gold star. Our learning objective says, I will prepare for the final Unit 6 test coming up this Friday by reviewing vocabulary words and the states of matter. I will practice for the test by studying the study guide and completing the practice homework. So the video that you're watching will be posted right here. If you need to see it again, just come back to this slide. So first, I'm going to review the vocabulary words that we learned. We learned these words a couple weeks ago, so it might be somewhere in your memory, but I'm going to help you refresh your memory by going over them right now. The first word you need to know for Friday's test is the word particle. Remember, particle is a small piece of a whole. So all things are made up of particles. For example, water is made up of water particles. The second word is kinetic energy. We've been using this word a lot. Kinetic energy is the energy of motion. When particles have high kinetic energy, they're moving around fast. And when particles have low kinetic energy, they're moving around slowly. The third word is temperature. Temperature is the average. This is really important. The average amount of kinetic energy of the particles. So for example, if on average all of these particles are moving slowly, then the temperature will be low and it's going to be cold. For another example, if all of these particles on average are moving around quickly, then the temperature will be high and it will be hot. So again, temperature is measuring how fast these particles are moving. It's measuring their kinetic energy, but on average. Now the other word is thermal energy. Do not confuse temperature and thermal energy. Thermal energy is the total amount of kinetic energy of all the particles. So if all of these particles are moving quickly and you add up all of their speeds, that's going to give you the total thermal energy. So thermal energy depends on how many particles there are. So remember, even if these 2 orange juice containers are the same temperature, this one has less thermal energy because there's less particles, so the total amount will be less. And the last word, thermal energy transfer, also known as heat, is the movement of thermal energy from a hotter area to a cooler area. Remember, thermal energy always moves from hot to cold, from warm to cold, and what you feel is heat. Now to review, thermal energy versus temperature. Remember, temperature is the average amount of kinetic energy, so on average, how fast the particles are moving, while thermal energy is the total amount of kinetic energy of all the particles. So when you add up all of the particles' kinetic energies, that will give you your thermal energy. So again, for this example, these two containers of hot chocolate, they're the same temperature, because on average, the particles in the hot chocolate containers are moving pretty fast, so they're the same temperature. However, the pot of hot chocolate has more thermal energy since there's more particles, and thermal energy is the total amount. And one more time, if you combine these 3 cups of hot chocolate, the temperature will still be the same, because temperature does not matter how many particles there are since it's the average. However, this large pot of hot chocolate will have a much greater thermal energy since there's much more particles in here. So that was our 5 vocabulary words that you need to know for Friday's test. You will be matching the vocabulary word to the definition and using them correctly in different sentences. Now I'm going to quickly review the states of matter. We learned that there are 3 states of matter: solid, liquid, and gas. Now you know that matter can change from one state to another when you add thermal energy or when you remove thermal energy. The matter can change from solid, liquid, or gas, liquid back to solid. Because when you add or remove thermal energy, you're changing the kinetic energy of the particles. You're changing how fast the particles move, and when you change the kinetic energy, this causes the temperature to also change. So we learn that to go from solid to a liquid, you need to add thermal energy, because when you add heat to a solid, the particles move faster and their kinetic energy will increase, which makes the temperature go up. So then the particles will spread out a little bit and become a liquid. And then when you add even more thermal energy to a liquid, the kinetic energy of the particles will increase. They'll keep moving faster and faster, and the temperature will go up even more. And then the particles will spread out and become a gas. Now going the opposite way, when you remove thermal energy from a gas, when you take away heat, the particles will move slower and their kinetic energy will decrease. So the temperature will go down. So if the particles move slower, they're going to come together and become a liquid. And then if you keep removing more thermal energy, the particles will move even slower, their kinetic energy will decrease, the temperature will go down, and they're going to become tightly packed together into a solid state. And we learned that going from a solid to a liquid is called melting. Liquid to a gas is called evaporation. Going from a gas to a liquid is condensation. And going from liquid to solid is called freezing. Alright, so that's it for today's review. Tomorrow I will review thermal energy transfer and conductors and insulators. But today we reviewed the vocabulary words and the states of matter. Now you're going to go ahead and open up your study guide that you can use to study for the final test. Remember, the final test is on Friday. So you can open the study guide and you can also use it to help you with today's practice homework. So if I open up the study guide by clicking on the link, it's going to open up the study guide. The study guide has the vocabulary words that I just went over. It has each word: particle, kinetic energy, temperature, thermal energy transfer, and the study guide also has the states of matter that I just went over. You can find this study guide in the black folder right over here, Unit 6 Final Test Study Guide. You can click on either one, both of them should work. Now you are ready to you're ready to do your practice homework. Remember, this is practice homework, it's not your test. So you have 3 chances. You have 3 times to practice. I really want you to practice a lot so that on your final test on Friday, you can do really well. So this practice homework is in the black folder. When you click on it, it will open up to here. Test practice homework number 1. It says before you start the homework, make sure you watched all of the video that you're watching right now, and you opened and read the study guide. Now the practice homework is going to ask you for a password. The password for today's homework is going to be the word practice. So remember, we're just practicing. So the password is practice. PRACTICE. Please spell it correctly. Go ahead and press start new attempt. You can type in the password practice, and then you should be able to do your homework. Alright, that's it for today. And then just to remind you, if you want to do the optional extra credit project to bring up your grade, the directions are right over here. Just click that and it'll tell you how to do your extra credit project. It's not required, but if you do it, your grade can go up.